Hi everyone, thank you so very much for joining me. My name is Kassandra and I'm going to guide you through this 30-minute Sun Salutations flow. So this is basically an updated and longer version of this 15-minute class I did a few years ago. So we are mainly focusing on going through Sun Salutations as well as some standing poses, and then we'll end things with some nice hip openers to really focus on flexibility a little bit. But this is a pretty dynamic, strong flow. I would say the poses themselves are all very beginner friendly. However, because of the amount of strength really that we're working on cultivating with this practice, as well as the pacing of the class itself, might make it more suitable for intermediate practitioners. So beginner to intermediate, somewhere in that realm, and no props are required. So before we actually stand up and get through our Sun Salutations, we're going to start on our mat. Beginning in Balasana, I'm going to do something a little bit differently to focus on my feet a little more. So I'm going to keep my knees pretty close in towards each other, and I'm just going to tuck my toes under so that I'm resting my hips towards my heels, and then I'm going to walk my hands forward and melt on down. And if you prefer, you can always do the wide-legged version of child's pose, whatever your body needs today. So use these first few moments to take some deep belly breaths, to clear your mind, and to really get present with your body. Noticing how you feel. This is a practice for inner and outer strength. It also really helps us tap into the power of focus and concentration. And it can help you learn how to sync your breath with your movements. So our last 3 breaths here, if you'd like, you can add on a little shoulder and chest opener, pressing your palms together, bend your elbows, and bring your thumbs towards the back of your neck. Melting your heart down a little more. Go ahead and straighten your arms, and let's lift our way up into our tabletop pose, making your way to hands and knees, palms under your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, just for cat and cow. Breathe in to drop your belly, squeeze your shoulder blades behind you, lift your gaze. Exhale, reverse this motion, rounding through your spine, and just keep going in and out of those 2 poses, linking breath with movement. Little back bend. And exhale, round it out. Keep going here. Two more. Really focus on pushing into your fingertips and knuckles. Take the weight out of your wrists. Last one. Now go ahead and just let your hips come back to sit on your heels, and you're just going to stretch your arms forward. Go ahead and make a fist and just roll, and really try to focus on stretching at the top of your wrist here. So because we'll be doing a lot of Sun Salutations, that means a lot of Chaturangas. And now go ahead and reach your arms all the way up overhead, and you're going to spread your fingertips wide. All we're going to do is rapidly open and close our hands. Sounds simple, but I promise you, you'll feel it soon enough. So lift up, shoulders back and down, rib cage in, and just go ahead. So make little fists and then open and spread your fingers and really go as fast as you can. You're going to start feeling it through your forearms, into the front of your hands. Keep going for about 10 more seconds. Try not to lift your shoulders up to your ears. And release. Shake it out. Back into our tabletop pose. Let's go ahead and extend our right leg up and back. Roll that right inner thigh down, flatten out through your lower back, and maybe add on by extending your left arm forward. We're holding steady here, making that first connection with our core strength. Reach back through that heel. And bring your left hand down. Go ahead and step your right foot out to the side. So your hip, your knee, and your foot are all along that same lane. And you can go ahead and lift on up, coming into our gate pose side bend. Left arm reaches all the way up and over, and you can slide your right hand down your leg. Pulling your lower belly in. Let's come all the way back through to center into our tabletop pose. Bring that right knee back. And this time, left leg goes up and back. Roll that hip down. Pull your stomach in. Maybe extend your right arm forward. So even here, notice where your body weight is going. Try not to let it all go into your left wrist. Really push into your fingertips and knuckles. Right hand down, left foot steps out to the side. So I have myself in a line here. Before lifting up into your gate pose, right arm reaches up and over. Coming back through to center, and from tabletop, we'll transition to our first downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Walk your hands a little bit past your shoulders before tucking your toes and lifting your hips up and back. So I'm currently healing from a bit of a pulled hamstring. So I'm going to be keeping my knees fairly bent in my downward dogs, also in any forward folds that I'm doing. So just feel free to also do this at home if you'd like. You really don't need to worry about having your legs super straight, but do focus on lengthening out through your arms and reaching your chest back towards your thighs. Let's walk our feet forward to the top of the mat for your Ragdoll fold. So your feet are about hip width distance apart, knees can be bent, and just let your upper body drape over your legs, maybe adding a gentle sway side to side. And release your hands down to the mat. Bend your knees, push into your heels to roll all the way up to stand. At the top of the mat, shining your palms forward. Okay, let's begin with some half sun salutations. So there's no chaturanga, no vinyasa. We're just working on our folds and really connecting the energy of our legs, rooting down into the earth. So you're going to inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold all the way down. Feel free to bend your knees here. Halfway lift, flat back, fingertips to your shins, shine your heart forward. Exhale, fold back down. Push into your feet, lead with your heart, circle the arms wide and up. Inhale. Exhale, hands at your heart. Let's do one more just like this. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, fold. Rise on up, inhale. Exhale, hands at the heart. Now we're gonna add on our vinyasa for Sun Salutations A. Inhale. Exhale. Halfway lift. This time, plant your palms and step your feet back to plank pose. Straight line, and we're going to lower on the exhale all the way to our belly. Point your toes back, Bhujangasana, cobra pose. Elbows are bent and hugging in. Exhale, lower, and we meet back, downward facing dog. Take one full inhale in your down dog. And as you exhale, you can look forward and step your feet to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, flat back, inhale, breathe in, and fold. Press to stand, rise on up. Exhale, hands at the heart. One more just like this. Inhale. Exhale. Halfway lift. Inhale. Step back to plank pose. Straight line. Connect with your core. And then lower all the way. Cobra pose. Little back bend here. And we meet back, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in your down dog. And as you exhale, look forward and step to the top of the mat so you can lift up, halfway lift, flat back. And fold. Press to stand, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, hands at the heart. Perfect. From here, we're going to add, before we move into our Sun Salutations B, we're going to take a standing side bend. So you're going to bring your right foot, cross it behind your left, and you can reach your right arm up and over. Really push out into your right hip here. Inhale back through to center, uncross the legs. We'll do the same thing to the other side. So cross your left foot behind the right one. I'm kind of on the blade edge of that foot. Left arm reaches up and over as I'm pushing my left hip out. Coming back through to center, standing tall in your mountain pose. Go ahead and lift your arms out in front of you with your elbows bent at a 90-degree angle. Keep your core strong. We're going to inhale to find a little back bend with this cactus shape through your upper body. And as you exhale, round and contract. Try to only isolate your upper body here. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more like this. Really get that nice big chest opener. And exhale to release. And go ahead and release your arms down. Sun Salutations B, so this is with chair pose and warrior one. I'm going to keep my feet hip width distance apart for this one. So let's go ahead. Chair pose, sink it down, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forward and down. Halfway lift, flat back. Plant your palms, plank pose. Inhale. Chaturanga this time, hover halfway and lift up into your upward facing dog so your hips are off the mat. Back into your downward facing dog, lifting through those hips. Right foot forward in between your palms to the top of the mat, Virabhadrasana 1. Your back foot is at a 45-degree angle. Inhale as you reach and press your palms together. Exhale to lower. Step back, Chaturanga again. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward. We'll take warrior one on the second side. Plant that right heel down. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, vinyasa again. So you're flowing from your plank to Chaturanga, to your upward facing dog, and back into your downward facing dog. We're going to inhale a full breath, and as you exhale, you can look forward and step or hop to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Utkatasana, chair pose, bend your knees, lift your arms up, and press to stand, hands at your heart. One more time. Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step or hop back from plank to Chaturanga. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, your upward dog. And we meet downward facing dog. Warrior one, left foot steps forward. Back heel is grounded. Inhale, palms together. Look up. Exhale, take your flow. Plank, lower. Back bend. Downward dog. Warrior one, right foot steps forward. Back heel is grounded. I'm pushing my feet into the floor to lift on up. Vinyasa again, hands down. Step the right foot back, halfway down. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, look, step or hop forward to the top of the mat. Halfway lift and fold. Chair pose, bend your knees, sink your hips. Arms come up. And we straighten, hands at the heart. Take a clearing breath, close your eyes. And just feel your heart rate, your breath rhythm. So before we go into the Hatha yoga version of Sun Salutations, we're going to take a few more standing poses from here. So go ahead and widen your feet, hip width distance apart. Make sure you really have your shoulders over your hips. Hands at heart center. You're going to extend your right leg back behind you. Keep both hips facing forward. Virabhadrasana 3, your warrior 3. So right leg goes up as your chest moves forward. At most, you're parallel to the ground. So remember what we were doing in tabletop pose when we had that right leg lifted. It's the same action. I'm kicking into that back heel. I'm trying to square off my hips. I'm pulling my lower belly in. And then maybe you add on, just like we had done, but this time with both arms up overhead. A really strong pose. One more breath here. And go ahead and lift all the way up. Bring that right knee in with you. So squeeze and engage through your hip flexors. Let's add a twist. Left hand to your right knee. Open your right arm up to the side. So my hips face the front of my mat. My chest faces the long edge of my mat. One more breath here. And facing forward, go ahead and release. Shake it out, probably feeling that through your left leg. Same thing on the other side. So square off through your hips and pelvis. Hands can come to your heart. As you lean on your right leg, reach that left leg back. And you can flex through that foot as you start to hinge and tilt forward. Really remembering those same key points we were working on in our warm-up. So let that left hip come down. Push into your left heel. Pull your lower belly in. Try to fill up the space in your lower back. And then maybe extend your arms up overhead if you really want to charge this up. And if you really want to charge up this practice, try talking while you do it. That'll definitely get you. Keep your gaze steady. Very carefully come all the way up to stand. You're going to bring your left knee in with you, hands at your heart. Find your balance here. Try not to dig your toes in the floor. Right hand to your left knee. Left arm opens up. Facing forward and release. Shake it out. So let's take one vinyasa, one round of our Sun Salutation A. Inhale, arms rise. Fold forward all the way. Relax your neck. Halfway lift. Plant your palms. I'm just going to step back. Lower to chaturanga or all the way if you prefer. Cobra or upward facing dog. Downward dog. Exhale. Inhale for one full breath here. And look forward. Bend your knees. Step or hop to the top of the mat. Halfway lift once you're there. And fold a little deeper. Exhale. Inhale, arms rise. Hands at your heart. Okay, let's do 2 rounds of Hatha, Surya, Namaskar. It's a little different from the Sun Salutations that we've been doing. As you inhale, reach up and add a back bend. So really lean back here. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, step your right foot back, lower your right knee down. This is a low lunge equestrian pose. Step back, downward facing dog. Left foot meets the right. Come forward into plank, and we're going to do 8-limbed staff pose, different from chaturanga. You're going to lower knees down first, and then chest and chin touch. Hips are lifted. Cobra pose. Inhale, open through your chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up. Right foot steps to the top of the mat. Back knee comes down. Equestrian pose on the second side. And as you exhale, you're going to kick off of that back leg to fold forward at the top of the mat. Inhale, rise all the way up. Find a back bend here. Exhale, hands at your heart. One more just like this. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, left leg steps back, left knee comes down, low lunge. Downward facing dog. Plank pose, lower your knees, chest and chin. Bhujangasana, cobra pose. Back to your downward facing dog. Step your left foot through, lower your right knee to the mat, low lunge. Push off of your right foot to fold forward at the top of the mat. Rise all the way up, add your back bend. Exhale, hands at your heart. Beautiful. Let's just take a warrior 2 from here. Keep your right foot forward. Bring your left foot parallel to the back of your mat. Go ahead and bend deeply into that right knee and extend your arms out. Let's reverse. Left hand down, right arm up. Keep this side bend, just straighten your right leg. And let's move into our triangle pose, Trikonasana. Right hand moves down, left arm stretches up. Push your feet into the floor to come all the way up, and just turn your right foot in so you now have both feet parallel to the shorter edges of your mat. Hands on your hips. Inhale, find some length. And fold all the way. And you can bring your hands wherever you'd like here. Just giving ourselves a nice big stretch through the hamstrings, decompressing through our spine. Walk your hands out so you can bring your chest parallel to the floor. Hands on your hips, push your feet into the mat, come on up, and we'll do that same thing, just doing warrior 2 this time towards the back of the mat. So you can just pivot so you have your left toes pointing back and bend into your left knee. Reach your arms out. And let's reverse. Right hand down, left arm up. Straighten your left leg. Triangle pose to the back of your mat. Both legs are straight here. Left hand reaches down, right arm extends up. Push your feet into the floor, go ahead and rise on up. And this time, instead of having your feet parallel, turn your heels in and your toes out. So it's at about a 45-degree angle. Hands at your heart here, bending down. This wide squat, focus on pressing your knees open. And we're gonna bend that right knee as much as we can, straighten the left leg, and see if you can lower down Skandasana, your side lunge. You can always have your hands on the floor for more support here. I'm using my right arm to open my knee a little more. And go to the other side. Left knee bends, right leg is straight. Come all the way back through to center and go ahead and lift on up. Walk to the top of the mat. One last time. Let's find our classical Sun Salutation A. Last flow here. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold all the way down. Halfway lift. Plant your palms, step the feet back, plank. Lower to chaturanga. Inhale. Upward facing dog and downward facing dog. Let's hold here. We're just going to stretch everything out. So bring your right leg up to the sky, bend your right knee, open up your hip into your pigeon pose. You can bring your right knee behind your right wrist. Reach that left leg back behind you, square off through the pelvis, and maybe you just want to hold the pose from here, or you can melt on down, placing your hands on the mat or on your arms. Take 5 breaths here. So cooling down, trying to slow our heart rate a little. And let your hips be heavy. And start to lift back up. Let's go back into our downward dog so we can repeat this over on the second side. So this time, left leg stretches up, bend your left knee, open up your hip. And you're going to place your left knee somewhere behind your left wrist. Extending your right leg back behind you, making sure you're not leaning on one hip more than the other. And choosing the depth that is most appropriate to you in this pose right now. And we'll come back out. Your last downward facing dog. So stretch out, make any little movements and adjustments that you'd like here. And because of all the chaturangas that we've done, let's take a puppy pose stretch. So bring your knees to the mat, keep your hips over your knees, and walk your hands out in front of you, melting down until your forehead makes contact with the mat. And you're just working on pressing your shoulders down, pressing your heart down. And you can do this with active arms, so keeping your elbows off the mat, or you can also relax your arms and let your elbows down, whatever feels best to you here. Sliding forward, Sphinx Pose. Just come forward onto your belly. Smaller back bend than what we've been doing here. Your forearms are still on the ground. Big breath in. And exhale. Just go ahead and flip on over onto your back. Before we come into Savasana, I really do like to end with a spinal twist. So for this one, let's keep our left leg straight. Pull your right knee into your belly, and you can cross your right thigh over towards the left. Reach your right arm out to the side. So I'm trying to stack my right hip over my left one. This is the exact same shape we did when we were standing up. That knee to chest twist, same thing, but a much easier, more passive version. Three more breaths here. And let's release, move back through to center, making our way to the other side. Pull your left knee in, and you can cross it over to the right. Reach your left arm out. Stacking left hip on top this time, but keeping your chest facing up. Release back through to center. Check to see if there's anything else your body might need before coming into Shavasana, our final resting pose. Might just be hugging your knees to your chest. And whenever you're feeling ready, widen, take up space, stretch out your arms and your legs, and really give yourself this well-earned rest, this time to integrate the work that you've done, to let everything settle and land within you. Let go every muscle in your body, just relax. About 2 minutes here. Start to breathe a little bit deeper. Move your fingers, your toes, your wrists, your ankles. You can stretch your arms up overhead, lengthening out. And let's turn to one side so we can come up and take a seat. And join your hands together at the front of your heart. Let's chant Om together to close this class. We'll inhale to chant. Breathe in. Om. Namaste. Thank you so very much, everyone, for doing this practice with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was definitely a bit of a challenging one. I certainly feel it in my body, but hopefully you feel really good. And hopefully this is a practice you can return to time and time again. These types of flows get easier the more that you do them, especially if you're new to Sun Salutations overall. Please subscribe, leave me a comment before you go, and hopefully I'll practice again with you very soon.